Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I've got solid life advice on behalf of my good friend Bob. Bob says, always check your rear. And in the case of this army, that is a great idea, because it looks like we've got some Goblin Wolf Riders, Vanguard deployed back here, Empire versus Greenskins, let's get to it, Boris Todbringer rushing back to do a bit of scouting. Got 3 Wolf Riders, one of which is the Moon Howlers for the rest of the Empire army. Reichsguard here, front line of Flagellants. Spearmen here, we've got Silver Bullets, Great Swords, a Jade Wizard, and a Steam Tank going up front to shoot the rest of the Greenskins army. And lo and behold, Boris did discover some filthy goblins back there. So, good on the scouting. For the rest of the army for the Greenskins, Goblins, Orc Boys, got a couple of Black Orcs. I've been noticing more people using Orc Boys recently, which is interesting. Let's see, Orc Error Boys here. We've got the Rusty Errors, some Broken Tusk Mob, regular Boar Boy Biggins, Forest Goblin Spider Riders, Wurzag leading the way with a Goblin Big Boss. Pretty standard Greenskins build, and yeah, right off the bat, the Moon Howlers, since their ruse is up, immediately going to go forward and get into contact with the Silver Bullets here. Reichsguard and other units a little bit late in getting to support, but they will be able to get in here and shut down those Wolf Riders in relatively short order. Only one of those Silver Bullets managed to actually get killed by a Goblin, so yeah, pretty good stuff so far. And it's a pretty decent amount of value. I mean, not the most value in the world, but a decent amount of value right off the bat. What is that, about 1,050? So yeah, that's basically like less than 10% of your army composition gone right off the bat. But still, balance power barely affected. Can see the Steam Tank doing some good damage to those Black Orcs. Gonna go ahead and pull back to the safety of its own lines here. And we'll see, this is a pretty narrow Empire army. He's definitely going to have to rely on these Reichsguard to win out. Now, that being said, I have talked about it previously, but Orc Boar Boy Biggins are terrible. They're just absolutely awful in terms of their combat stats. They do have a slight bonus versus large. They have a decent charge bonus, but like, considering these guys are, I mean, they're what, granted, 200 points cheaper than the Reichsguard, but the Reichsguard just have way better combat stats, way better charge bonus, armor, and everything pretty much. The only thing they don't have better of is the armor-piercing weapon strength and anti-large, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how those Boar Biggins stack up there. With the support of the Spider Riders, they definitely can win out against those Reichsguard, so the Reichsguard are going to have to be careful on what kind of engagement they take. Obviously, with WA active, that does change the Boar Boy Biggins to be slightly more effective, but even still, with WA active, they are, because of their low melee defense and armor, not the best. A nice hit and run charge here on these Goblins. The Reichsguard going to go ahead and pull away to the support of their spears there, probably try and get those Orc Boar Biggins baited into an engagement there. Flagellants clashing in the front line here. We've got Goblins charging into Flagellants there. The gun line opening up, getting a really nice volley on those Black Orcs, but then the bow's going to start to return fire there very aggressively. Boris drops down over on the far side to help deal with some of those Boar Boy Biggins, and you can see there the Empire forcing a favorable engagement over on this side. The Boar Biggins actually get terrified. Very, very nice play there. Meanwhile, over here, going to have to be careful. This unit of Reichsguard facing, again, Broken Tusk Mob, Spider Rider Archers, definitely doesn't want to take this engagement. Going to go ahead and rear charge there into those Goblins, then probably pull through those Spears. But Silver Bullets have been dealt with. There are some reserve Black Orcs here as well. This unit of Black Orcs that took a beating on the way in is just about finished off, but the Flagellants took quite a bit of damage there as well, and this other unit of Black Orcs can move in to start doing some damage also. We'll see where the Greenskin missile units focus. Probably want to start going after the Steam Tank. The Jade Wizard may be a decent option as well, but we'll see. This flank starting to crumble pretty badly for the Greenskins because of that overload with Boris. The Reichsguard able to pursue very aggressively there while taking very little damage with the support of spears, chasing off Spider Riders, Boar Boy Biggins, and more. Meanwhile, those Flagellants are chasing around the Errors in the back. And over here, you can see the Reichsguard had taken quite a bit of damage, but now pulling back to some supporting spears. Boris is going to once again drop down, and with the supporting combined engagement here, the Empire will be able to win out. The Terror, of course, does terrify away the supporting Goblins here, and just allows the Empire to sort of win by resources. But yeah, at this point the balance of power is still relatively even, all things considered, but things are not looking great for the Greenskins. This unit of Black Orcs gets routed off, and the Greenskin player admits defeat, I think, a little bit early there. He definitely still had quite a few tools, but it was going to be tough to take down the Steam Tank and Boris, especially with all the healing that was still left in the tank there. You know, balance of power is still pretty close, but I definitely understand why he admitted defeat. That being said, it's an interesting matchup, definitely. Scouting is always very key when you're up against the Greenskins because they have such good Vanguard and stock options. I would almost always recommend bringing fast-moving either flying units or like at least missile cavalry, light cavalry of some kind that you can do some kind of scouting, especially if you have like artillery. You've got potentially corners that your opponent can vanguard in, but in terms of the army breakdown there, Flagellant's racking up quite a few kills, 62, 74 there, 63, very good stuff all around. The Reichsguard also getting some nice, good combined engagements with Boris, sort of working well in tandem there to win the flank engagements against those Orc Boarboy Biggins, and you can see why I'm not the biggest fan of those particular units. We'll talk more about how you can sort of counter the Empire Cavalry in just a minute there. But yeah, Steam Tank racked up 48 kills, pretty decent stuff. As for the Greenskins build here, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Orc Boys. Wurzag also can be pretty decent in this matchup, but he is pretty expensive as well. The Wolf Riders, I do like a few, but I think going that aggressively on the Vanguard is potentially a little bit risky. So let's go ahead and kind of have a think about some different things here in the end screen. So if we go ahead and have a look here, so with the Greenskins versus Empire is potentially a very, very interesting matchup. There's a number of different ways you can go. Now, assuming you don't want to go full Vanguard with a Goblin Great Shaman, which is hilarious, and you can absolutely do that, but it's very risky, I would definitely recommend going with either Skarsnik or Grimgor here. Skarsnik is probably going to be the better option, just because he has charge defense against large, he has the most HP out of any Greenskin Lord, and likewise you can also use Spider to Bad Moon if you need to on an open field map to help hide a spider on the advance. The Ragnarok Queen can be a bit risky to take here because the Empire has good armor-piercing missiles, but typically with Greenskins you have enough backline harass that you can keep the Queen online at least from missiles. Demigryph Knights are another danger, but hopefully, you know, with the right, again, supporting elements, you can help take them down. A couple Black Orcs, pretty solid idea. I'm not the biggest fan of Orc Boys. I think that instead you should layer in some Skulkers with some regular Goblins. We're going to take the 2 Regiment of Renowned Goblins as well for armor sundering and just decent frontline presence against Empire Infantry. From here, we can do a few different things. Having the Rusty Arrows would probably be pretty decent. And then we do want some units of cavalry, so maybe we get the Mangy Marauders and then just a couple of Wolf Riders to help protect. I do like Spider Riders a little bit better though, so maybe we grab some Spider Riders here. We're a little bit heavy on Skulkers, so let's try and fix this composition up a little bit. This will allow us to take one more Spider here, and then, I don't know, maybe like one more Wolf Rider Archer. There's some different things you could do. You know, you could kind of play around with this composition a little bit. I obviously don't have a caster, which is a big problem. So we definitely want to take a caster. Now, Night Goblin Shaman, you can get down pretty cheap if you just like take like Sneaky Stabbing, for example. Or yeah, like just Sneaky Stabbing and Itchy Nuisance. Yeah, we would still need to find a little bit of cost here somewhere, like that maybe. I don't know. I'd have to play around with this a little bit and see, but if you weren't really too worried about trying to hide the spider from like big cannons and stuff on the advance, you could cut Spider to Bad Moon. That will free up a little bit more funds to try and bring some stuff here for the caster. But just in general, going with a nice wide goblin build with just a few supporting elites, I think is the way to go. The backline harass, you want to try and only go, you know, avoid heavy cavalry as much as you can with these guys and just go after, you know, like enemy skirmish units and so on. Basically, you just want to try and bait enemy heavy cav into an unfavorable engagement. I'd be even tempted to just cut the rusty airs at that point, but going with no missiles can potentially be pretty risky as well. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This is honestly, Empire vs. Greenskins is a matchup that I could literally sit down and just nerd out for hours and hours over the nuances of that particular matchup. But let me know down in the comments below what you guys like to take, what Lord selection you like to take, what kind of army composition you like to focus around. Let me know in the comments down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification buttons. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.